Welcome back. The generation gap is apparently leading to a communications gap when it comes to families transferring wealth. Robert Frank talking about my and the next generation.
Talking about money, what we talk about when we talk about money. Now, over $100 trillion expected to pass from older to younger generations in the next two decades. Yet there is a big disconnect between older and younger generations in how to handle that money and how to talk about it. Nearly a third of Gen Zers and millennials see, quote, fear of conflict or disagreement as a main challenge in family wealth. That's according to a new survey of families worth $10 million or more by the J.P. Morgan Family Wealth Institute. Now, younger generations feel twice as much stress and anxiety during financial discussions compared to boomers, and they're twice as likely to view communication styles as the main challenge. Now, wealth also means very different things to different generations. Not much surprise here, but for millennials and Gen Z, wealth equates to freedom, travel, making life choices, living their values. For boomers, it's more about building a shield that was made from discipline, hard work, and sacrifice. Now, the lack of communication means that inheritors only learn about family wealth maybe after a crisis, which can then cause a lot of legal disputes, expensive battles. The solution, according to J.P. Morgan, is for wealth creators to be clear about their expectations and plans, and for inheritors to show that they are prepared, they know how to invest, they know how to budget responsibly. That's not going to be easy because 87% of Gen Zers and millennials value discussing wealth and family matters. Only a third of boomers, or a third of them, say it's not important. Now, if you want to join the conversation about wealth and how to manage it, a lot of things we talk about here, sign up for the Inside Wealth newsletter at cnbc.com/insidewealth, cnbc.com/insidewealth.
As a millennial born to boomers, this tracks in my family.
How so?
Well, just with certain parental figures and kind of conversations around things like estate planning, I, for example, have wanted to have with certain older family members of a different generation, which sort of raises the question, how do you get ahead of some of these dynamics, especially if there's life changes or there's deaths or there's divorces and remarriages and all these things? Like, just hire a
Are we
state
doing like family
manager
counseling here?
No,
Is this Dr. Phil?
But the data tracks is my point.
I think Morgan's making a great point. The gap between the finance problem and the
I hope nobody from her family is watching the show.
Social, emotional, mental, divide between generations. How do you get past that?
It's a great question. The wealth management business has shifted from just being about investment returns, tax efficiency, estate and trust planning to this. Because when you talk to wealthy families, what is the biggest risk to their wealth? Their biggest challenge is their kids. And dealing with the family dynamics, not just blended families where there's stepmothers and all that stuff, but also geographically diverse families. So I learned a lot. Warren Buffett, whenever he would change his will, and we learned this from Becky's great interview with Susie, Howie, and Peter, he would talk to the kids about, hey, I'm thinking about, throughout his life, I'm thinking about changing my will, or I'm just made a change. What do you think about it? Ask any questions. So be clear along the way. Also, if you're worried about the readiness, give them investment money early when they're younger and start them investing. Let them learn so when they do get that inheritance at some point, they're prepared.
Robert, real quick, I could do the math, but it's too many zeros.
It's a lot. $100 trillion.
I mean, some people are watching this saying, wow, I'd really be lucky to have this problem.
Of course.
How many families are you talking about in this situation?
Well, if you look broadly generationally, it's $100 trillion over the next 20 years, and more than the majority of that is wealthy families. So yes, this is mainly a high-class problem, but a lot of people will inherit real estate. They're going to inherit assets from their families. That's not a ton of money.
I know families that aren't talking to each other because they've had these debates.
Morgan,
and the parents didn't solve it for the kids.
Yeah, just to be clear, I'm not from a wealthy family, but we still see this dynamic. I'm from blue collar, Brewster, New York, I'm proud to say, but it's still a dynamic.
Even if it's your parents' house, these issues are the same. They just get added with a lot of zeros the wealthier you are. But
and there's questions about how much to leave kids over what period of time.
Exactly.
When they're 30, 35.
Easy fix. Don't give them anything.
And that's where a lot of people just give your money to charity and don't leave them anything.